Hello, everyone. We're going to be talking about care guides for reptiles, starting with the Green Anole. This is how to care for brown and green anole from Reptile Supply, but we're going to cater it towards green anole. Green anoles are small, 5 to 8 inch long diurnal lizards native to North America. Green anoles are found in the southeastern United States. That's why they're going to be found in my terrarium, because I'm doing all natives of the southeastern United States. Um, So let's get into the care. How much space? Minimum 18 by 18 by 24. So a foot and a half by a foot and a half by 2 feet. Larger is better. They're pretty active. So let's go into some terrariums. I've got some Exoterra and then some Reptizoo. So this is kind of your minimum size enclosure. The small tall from Exoterra. So here's one of the reasons why this pet is a little tricky. You can buy them for $5, but this is going to run you. I don't think they have prices listed on the Exoterra website. But if we were to take the natural, we were to just, yeah, $250 for the minimum. Um, Thankfully for my terrarium is going to have plenty of space. Won't be a problem on the space. It will be bigger in every single dimension. It will be 3 feet tall, 8 feet long, 3 feet deep. But for people who aren't building their enclosures, that's a pretty hefty price to buy for a $5 lizard that needs lots of climbing spaces. Then you've got the small extra tall, which is the same length, but it's just taller, 3 feet. I would recommend this over this. I'm guessing it's significantly more expensive, but this gives them plenty of time, places to run around. Also, you've got this little section that you could do a paludarium. They will not drink from water pools similar to chameleons, or at least I'm not aware of them doing that. So you will need a fogger or a misting system. Screen would also be a pretty decent option. I would go with, if you wanted to get several anoles, this would be amazing for them. Because you're going to want to watch them run around. They're a very fun lizard to watch. So you could get the small tall as the minimum enclosure. The extra tall would be your upgrade from that. If I click that, is that going to take me to the shop? Well, that's loading. No. Okay. Just checking. And then these would be great. I'm going to guess that I actually have an small extra tall for my chameleon. Chameleons aren't as active, so now the enclosure that I will be building her will be more like a 30 by 30 by 36, something like that. So significantly larger. Reptizoo, let's look around. So this one would be perfect for some anoles, but again, you're looking at that $300 range. Again, this also would be perfect. This one would be good, but you see that the problem is, do not get something small. They're going to be a very active lizard. Cohabitation is not recommended, may result in fighting or breeding if attempted. So males are fiercely territorial. If you do not have a large enough enclosure, absolutely do not keep more than one anole together. And when I say more, like large enough, I mean like an 8-foot enclosure, because they're going to establish territories. And even then, once you do that, you're really going to need to have different basking areas, so that they don't have to fight over basking areas. Um, so you're really going to have to work if you want to keep uh, more than one male anole. Even if you keep female, I believe the females can lay up to 30 eggs in a year. And the young are incredibly difficult to care for because they have to eat tiny, tiny, tiny crickets or fruit flies. I personally am going to try to breed them, and I personally want to have two males and three females, but one male and four female would be fine as well. Um, do anoles need UVB? The answer is always yes. Even if it's a gecko that's nocturnal, give it some UVB during the day. We don't know if crepuscular and nocturnal species need UVB, but considering that pretty much every other reptile does, I would suggest it. Um, they need exposure for light. Light should be on for 10 days during the winter and 14 days during the summer for those seasons. Need medium strength UVB. So they're saying the T8 Reptisun 10. I would say go for the T5 Reptisun 5, but um, I always go for T5s in my opinion. It's just better. Um, Arcadia Shade Dweller or the Arcadia T5 High Output. Um, Speaking of which, if any of these companies want to sponsor me with my terrarium project, I would be happy for you to help me out. Um, this is going to be a big project, and I'm very excited about it. UVB bulbs should be housed in a reflective fixture. Just FYI, if you don't have it in a reflective fixture, you're going to lose about 50% of the UVB. So if it is without a reflector, I would say 12% or on the Arcadia T5 or do that 10. Um, UVB is blocked by glass and plastic, so you have to have either screen or the bulb in the enclosure. Um, make sure it does not have a clear plastic bulb cover. As day active, they also benefit from natural sunlight, is what that's saying basically. So basically, just give them some natural sunlight through some LEDs. Basking temperature of 90 degrees. You should have a thermometer / a thermostat in the enclosure. Should be cooler in the other side, 70 to 77. That's the room temperature of my house. So when I did that heat map, 70 is kind of the ambient temperature. Provide heat by using, you could use a halogen heat lamp. Do not use ceramic heat, red bulbs or blue bulbs. I would say this, so I have one for Tiamat, a ceramic heat emitter. This can burn. I don't typically use it. These, turns out reptiles can see red and blue light. Basking surface should be a sturdy branch. Heat source should be turned off at night. Okay, makes sense. Where we live, it does get cooler in the night. It can also get more humid, so if you want to get like a humidifier going in the enclosure, that could also just lower the temperature. I personally would use a deep heat projector. It looks to me through the literature I've seen that that's just significantly better for reptile health. What humidity levels? 60 to 70%. Keeping humidity for anoles is not as vital as with chameleons. I would say if you just have a mister in there, or if you can spray it yourself, or you could have a fogger. What substrate is good for anoles? You're just going to want something that can hold moisture well. These are some options they give. My mix is going to be a mix of peat moss, mulch, and topsoil. That peat moss is supposed to make it hold humidity better. Um, Substrate should be at least 2 inches deep, completely replaced every 3 to 4 months. If you have bioactive, I would say that could be changed. What decor? You want stuff that they can climb, even if it's not like super fancy or if it's fake. Just give them stuff to climb. Especially if you have two or more males, that will give them different basking areas. What do anoles eat? Um, when they say primarily insectivores, they mean like 100% insectivores. Um, Small dubias, some mealworms, and then crickets, calcium dust, uh, mist. This is saying they'll drink off of a water dish, but I've never heard of them doing that. Do anoles like to be handled? No, this is a display pet. There are two kinds of reptiles that like to be handled, in my opinion, and they're ball pythons and they're um, bearded dragons. Maybe any kind of snake, but um, most lizards do not like people very much. So um, let them be a display pet. They're amazing to look at, but they're also not. They're a very flighty lizard, so leave them alone. Um, well, that's my green and old care guide. Kind of just going through this reptile supply, but giving my own tips and tricks. I have not kept any green anoles for a while, but I've done it wrong, so I can give you all tips on that front. All right. Anyway, please like and subscribe and comment below if I've messed anything up, or if you're some company that wants to sponsor me with me keeping green anoles. I'll be going through some of the care guides for animals that I might keep, or those that I know that I am in the future. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.